Good morning, everyone. Today is Donor Remembrance Day, and we're going to celebrate by introducing you to both sides of donation. It looks like we already have 11 viewers. Thanks so much for jumping on with us so quickly. As we mentioned, we're going to introduce you to both sides of donation, but for now, just sit tight because we want to wait for a few more people to be able to join the live stream as the Facebook notification goes out to our followers, some of our volunteers, maybe some Network of Arizona employees even. So that if you're watching this later and it's not live, you can fast forward for a minute or two. Anyways, we're going to get started in a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, we invite you to share about the donors that you're remembering today. The comments section on this Facebook Live is a pretty great place for us to come together, right? Joined by the profound experience that is the gift of life. So we're going to be back in a few minutes. All right, looks like we're already seeing some of the comments. We want to thank you for tuning in, participating with us. Looks like Crystal Ray today is remembering Elijah Perez or Elijah Perez, depending on how you say it. Sydney Duke saying good morning. We have a special participation from her in just a little bit. Thank you for tuning in, and we appreciate you for allowing us to share your story and your son's story. Also from Jennifer Valente Kaywood. She's remembering her donors. If I'm not mistaken, Jennifer is the recipient of a heart and kidney. But let's get started here. My name is NICO SANTOS. I am the Media Relations Coordinator for Donor Network of Arizona, which is the organ procurement organization for Arizona. I've been with the organization for a little bit more than 2 years after, in a past life, working as a journalist. So when people ask me I made the switch, it seems so radical to a lot of people, but at the end of the day, what really makes this job a vocation and meaningful is the stories that we tell, because organ donation is profound for really anyone who is touched by it, whether you're a donor family, a recipient, or if you're in the work that you do. If you meet someone and they tell you about it, you will never forget their story. I can promise you that. As a conclusion to National Donate Life Month, we're observing Donor Remembrance Day today. So if you're able, the Association of Organ Procurement Organizations, which is also known as AOPO, is inviting you to observe this day by planting forget-me-not flowers. In fact, you notice that in some parts of the screen here. There we go. In the background, we have some forget-me-nots just to kind of keep the theme going there. And they happen to be blue and green, the colors of donation. But of course, you're invited to remember our donors in other ways as well. We at Donor Network of Arizona are observing this special day with a special guest who will be joining us in a couple of minutes. But first, who are we? Donor Network of Arizona, also known as DNA, fulfills the life-saving and life-healing mission of organ, eye, and tissue donation. You may notice that our logos involve the Donate Life logo because we are under the Donate Life America branding. DNA, again, is the state's federally designated organ procurement organization. But without a doubt, our work is only made possible because of the generosity of Arizona donors and their families. DNA is also a tissue recovering agency and an eye bank, and that means we collaborate with all kinds of healthcare and community partners to help the gift of life happen as a vital link for transplantation, which saves and heals lives. So naturally, we encourage all Arizonans to sign up to be donors. And it's crucial that you know there are no age limits or health requirements to register. You can do that right now with a special URL that we have for this month and for this Facebook Live. We invite you to go to donatelifeaz.org/generosity. So let's take a closer look. Did you know that almost 3.9 million people in Arizona are part of the Donate Life AZ registry already? That's slightly more than half of the adult population, which is amazing. But when we know, based on surveys, that more than 90% of people in the United States think that organ donation is a good thing, there's a gap there, right? So we're looking forward to the day that we see 60% of the population in Arizona sign up, and then 70, and hey, maybe more. And again, how can you register? Most people do it by checking the box at the MVD when they go for a driver's license or a state ID application or a renewal. But we don't want you to wait, especially in a time of quarantining and self-isolation, social distancing. So again, you can do that online right now at donatelifeaz.org/generosity. It only takes 38 seconds, and it's exactly the same as checking the box at the MVD. Let's paint a picture for you with some of the numbers here. So why would you want to register? Well, right now, there are more than 112,000 people on the national organ waiting list. Almost 1,800 of those patients live right here in our state of Arizona. Every day, 22 people die waiting for an organ transplant. And every 10 minutes, a new name is added to that national organ waiting list. But the good news is this: because one donor can heal up to 75 people on the tissue front. And that may include skin tissue, vascular tissue, heart valves even, which save pediatric patients, so kids, 75, 76% of the time. Ocular tissue can also help people see again. And through organ donation alone, one donor can save up to 8 lives. So just imagine the ripple effect that can have if you as an organ donor save even only one person through that donation. It impacts so many, their family, their friends, coworkers, and really the entire community that surrounds that person. At this time, we want to put a name and a face to donation. We want you to meet Samuel Duke, who is here on the screen now. Sam passed away in April 2016, and we remember him today and always. He left behind multiple gifts of life to give other people a second chance. You see here his mother, Sydney Duke, who is wearing the red shirt in that middle picture. And she is now a hardworking Donate Life Arizona volunteer as well, encouraging other people to share life just like Sam did. As we mentioned earlier, but in case you're joining us a little bit later, Sydney's watching the live stream today, so make sure to show her some love in the comments section as we honor her son today, and really your stories about your own donors that you're remembering today. It's going to be a little difficult, but we're going to get through it. Before we meet our special guest today, Sydney sent us a letter that she wrote to her son Sam because she wanted to contribute to today's moment of honoring him with thoughts from a donor mother to her late son. And it goes like this. You were 16 when you got your driver's license. You made the decision to check the box to be an organ donor. Little did you know what an impact that one decision would be. Little did you know you would be the answer to so many prayers. On the day you were born, you were the answer to my prayers. You were such a good baby. You were happy, loving, caring, curious, sensitive, and an intelligent little boy. You were a good son, good grandson, good nephew, good cousin, good boyfriend, good neighbor, good employee. You were a good student and good classmate, a good athlete, good musician. You were always willing to help others, and that made you a good leader and mentor. You were generous and kind, thoughtful and observant, strong and protective. You made friends easily, and you were a good and loyal friend. You had dreams and demons too, just like we all do. You positively influenced countless people, and you did not even know it. Your life had meaning. I lost you on April 2nd, 2016. This is normal. Okay, I'm going to make it. Because you checked the box, you saved 3 people's lives and gave sight to 2 people through organ and tissue donation. Because of you, I know what unconditional love is. I know what genuine gratitude is. I know what complete and total trust is. Because of you, I know the power of prayer, and I now believe in miracles. Because of you, I live on life's terms. I know the importance of looking at the bigger picture and look for and see the beauty that surrounds me. Because of you, I know that life indeed goes on, that death is not the end. Because of you, I know that love never dies. Because of you, 5 people are living and inspiring those around them. When you check that box, you gave a second chance at life. That one simple decision made a profound impact on the lives of your recipients, their families, their friends, your family, your friends, and everyone who hears your story and theirs. Your life continues to have meaning. I am incredibly proud of you and honored to be your mom. I love you, Sam Duke. Always have, always will, forever and ever. And this is signed, Grateful to be your mom. It's beautiful. And I think that's a solid example of really how profound saying yes to life can be, right? I, at least at this point in my life, don't need an organ transplant or a tissue, and I'm grateful for that. But if I were ever to need one, I'm so inspired by families like Sydney Duke's families and Sam. And we appreciate the family for sharing that letter. I'll get over this, I promise, and as we continue. With that, we do want to introduce you to one of Sam's recipients. Sam saved Morgan CHENEY's life with a double lung transplant. And she's here today to help us honor him for this Donor Remembrance Day. Morgan, I'm sorry if I set you up already to be emotional before you even had a chance to say any words, but we had the pleasure of meeting you a couple of years ago for National Donate Life Month at a flag raising, if I'm not mistaken. So, between then and now, we're so appreciative of your ongoing support of the gift of life. Can you tell us what comes to mind when you hear that letter and when you see those pictures of Sam and his family?
It's very humbling. It's very emotional. I have so much gratitude towards Sam and his family, and it still breaks my heart that we can't both be here. And it's it's overwhelming. It's hard to explain, but it's just so much gratitude that I have for him forever.
And what I learned about you and your story when we first met is that you had a diagnosis of cystic fibrosis, right? When you were pretty young, I think 2 years old. Can you kind of walk us through that path a little bit of what it was like to go from diagnosis to eventually needing life-saving organ transplant?
Well, I was diagnosed when I was 2, like you said, and for most of my life, I was relatively healthy. I did have to get IV antibiotics every now and then, and I had some hospital stays and some issues, um, and some pancreatic issues, but overall, I was pretty good until college. And then I started to get a really bad cough, and things were kind of not great. But I was still functioning and mobile. I wasn't on oxygen. And then, in the spring of 2016, while I was student teaching in a fourth grade class, I got pneumonia. And so the pneumonia plus the cystic fibrosis just really just destroyed my lungs. And so, you know, um, my family and I and my doctor and I had never even discussed a transplant. It was never really something that we thought we'd have to worry about. And then when I got sick, it just went downhill so fast that the only option was a transplant. And we were not prepared, and we didn't even go through the regular steps like most people would for a transplant, where you have to get checked out first and then you're on the list for a while. It was just very, very sudden.
And we're going to talk a little bit in a minute about really the steps that it takes in order to get listed, but I'm hoping that you have your own letter that we posted on our Instagram about 2 weeks ago that you wrote to Sam.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, can you read that to us and share your letter?
Okay. Um, Dear Sam, I bet you had no idea that when you signed up to be an organ donor, you'd save my life. During college, my cystic fibrosis really started to act up. My lung function was in the 40s, and I was coughing so much that I basically had a six pack. Silver lining. I often had to walk out of class because I couldn't control my coughing attacks. I was embarrassed and worried to be in quiet places. I was even uncomfortable in movie theaters because undoubtedly I would end up coughing. Then in the spring of 2016, while student teaching, I caught pneumonia. My lungs drastically dropped to less than 10% function. Being on life support, a double lung transplant was my only hope. By choosing to be an organ donor, you made that transplant possible. You've given me 4 extra years and hopefully many more. I turned 30 in February. Yikes. I've gotten to travel, attend my best friend's weddings, spend time with family, and in a few months, I get to meet my new baby cousin. You made this possible, Sam, and for that, you will always, always be my hero. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I continue to think of you with every clear breath I have. Thank you.
Uh, I'm a sap, so you got me.
I know.
I appreciate you for sharing that. And I wanted to make a point of you sharing that here because it was beautifully written and obviously comes from the heart, and it was very well received internally at Donor Network of Arizona as well as on our social media platforms. It's just there's really no words to describe how it's just beautiful, and we appreciate you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
I'm wondering at this time if you could kind of dive into those details a little bit again, specifically about how difficult and complex the process is just to get listed.
Yeah. For me, like I said, I was about in the 40s, which of lung function, and that's not low enough for a transplant. But when I got sick, my lung function went to about like less than 10%, and so immediately I was one of the top um, people on the transplant list. And so you really kind of have to be in dire straits for a dire straits for a transplant.
Mhm.
Um, and then it depends on your blood type and the size of the organ, and kind of where you're located compared to where your donor is located because it's really really time sensitive. The organs can't last that long out of the body. Um, I think only like a few hours at most for some organs, and that's the longest period. Um, so it's all very quick. There's I mean, even if you had known you're on the transplant for a while, when the time comes to get the transplant, it's very fast. There's not a lot of time to prepare for that. So,
Yeah.
it's a crazy process.
And so, I mean, you got the diagnosis when you were 2, so that was really young. After your transplant, was there ever a moment where you felt like you were normal again, or better
Um,
than normal? Maybe like when did you feel like, okay, I'm human now and I can do things?
oh, it was about 9 months to a year, I think, before I was kind of, like, normal again. Um, I had a lot of physical pain, and then mentally it was rough to get through, but surprisingly for me, the pain was more in my back than in the actual, like, incision area. I mean, it definitely hurt and it was stiff.
Yeah.
My back hurt so bad just from being in bed for, like, weeks at a time, and
Mhm.
that took a while to get over.
Now, so after your own transplant, though, if I remember, I don't remember the details, but you had like some kind of creative endeavor that you were inspired by your donation, right? Were you making like custom hospital gowns or something along those lines?
Yes, I started making custom hospital gowns for kids and adults. Um, and it's just kind of, like the fabric has you can choose if you want, like, a princess on it or superheroes or a football team or whatever. And I started doing that because, being in the hospital for my transplant, I was there for 1 month, and then that same year in December, I had some kidney issues, and so I was there for 3 weeks. And I just started thinking it weighs on you so much being in the hospital for a long amount of time, and you just have these same hospital gowns that everybody has. So I wanted
Mhm.
to do something that maybe made, people, especially kids, feel a little more like themselves or be able to express themselves somehow, just being stuck in that hospital bed. So I did, yeah, I started doing that. It's called I'm Still Me, and, it's been really cool. I've had a lot of good feedback, and it's nice.
I missed it though. It was called what?
I'm Still Me.
I'm Still Me.
Yeah.
Okay. After this, make sure you put, if you have like a website or some kind of social media, to put in the comments of this same Facebook Live so people can take a look. That seems pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this might be a little bit self-serving of a question in your favor, but like, where did the kindness of your heart come from to like to support organ and tissue donation, to make custom gowns, and I mean, your demeanor is so pleasant. Like,
Mhm.
where's the inspiration of that?
Um, I think, well, I mean, I have to say my parents, I think, started it because they're such, like, wonderful, giving people, and they're so supportive, and I couldn't have gotten through anything without them and my brother, and they were there every step of the way, and they've just kind of formed me into this person, and I originally wanted to be an elementary teacher, but, after the transplant the doctor said I shouldn't because, with kids, they're so germy and gross that it would be a health hazard for myself to be in that classroom every day,
Mhm.
um, and so I wanted to do something that was helpful, um, I don't know, do something where I could make some sort of difference, so, that's, I guess, where that came from, and I'm really into advocating for organ donation because I have experienced it and I know how important it is. And on my driver's license, I've always been an organ donor, um, but you really don't think about it that much until it comes down to it and you're put in that position.
Yeah.
And so something that means a lot to me.
And that's exactly why we're doing Facebook Lives like this, to honor Sam and to like get that conversation going with people, particularly in such a time like where a lot of people are spending more time at home.
Yeah.
Talk about it, bring it up, because like you said, it's really easy to just like leave it in the back of your mind, or to put it off to register, or to forget to check the box, and you think it's too late. But no, I want to remind everybody that you can still do, or you can still register as an organ tissue donor on donatelifeaz.org/generosity. And just my curiosity, particularly since you are a double lung recipient, when you talk to friends and family about it, what do you say to them to encourage them to at least consider saying yes to the gift of life?
Um, well, I think, some people they don't wanna sign up because maybe they think they're too old or that they say, "Oh, I don't have anything anybody wants anyway." But there's so many, opportunities for donation, you have no idea for sure if you could save somebody's life or not, and I just think it takes less than 5 minutes to sign up, and if there's a chance that you can save someone's life or just improve it, I mean, why not? You're not gonna need that stuff when you're gone, and it impacts so many people, not just the person you're saving, but their family, their friends, um, and with how bad my condition was, I don't think if Sam hadn't have been an organ donor, I don't think I would have gotten a transplant in time. So, it's so easy, I just don't know why people don't do it.
Yeah. And you made a good point about how there's no age limits or health requirements in order to register.
Yeah,
And when you say yes to organ tissue donation, you're just giving even just like a glimmer of hope to the 112,000 people who are on the national organ waiting list, because some people wait 24 hours, some people wait years, and I can't even imagine how excruciating that wait can be.
right.
Morgan, we appreciate you for sharing your story
Yes,
and for allowing us to honor Sam today. Of course,
of
to
course.
Sydney, who's watching the live as well. We appreciate it really, to
Thank
everyone who's been a
you.
part of this. And you know what we're calling you soon to do more things like this. So we appreciate your support, and we hope you are staying safe and healthy in New Mexico, right? You
Yes,
moved?
I'm in New Mexico, so,
Okay.
yep, be here for a little while longer.
Okay. Yeah, we'll still be in touch. Thank you so much for your time here.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. To wrap this up, I want to give a special thank you once again to Sydney Duke for tuning in today and allowing us to share Sam's story and to encourage other people to be a hero like he is. We remember Sam and all of our donor heroes today and always. And to our viewers, either live right now or later, we thank you also for joining us and for commenting about the organ, eye, and tissue donors that you're remembering today. For more information about organ, eye, and tissue donation and to register as a donor, once again, we want you to visit donatelifeaz.org/generosity. And you can also go to aopa.org/donor remembrance day for more information because they're inviting you to plant those forget-me-nots, but you can do digital ones online if you so chosen. I mean, needless to say that Donate Life Month 2020 has been kind of a unique one, right? But it's also been an amazing opportunity to celebrate our donor heroes in creative ways. This is new for us as well. We also celebrate the people who have had a second chance because of those donor heroes. I'm even wearing my Heroes for Hope shirt today in honor of all of them. And we appreciate the 3.9 million people who have said yes to sharing life so far. If you want to join them, donatelifeaz.org/generosity. And since we are in a time of self-isolation, I just want to repeat to please consider discussing organ, eye, and tissue donation with your families and your loved ones. You may be surprised to learn how many people you know are already registered, and maybe you'll inspire someone else to offer the gift of life as well. Once again, my name is NICO SANTOS from Donor Network of Arizona, and we're so happy that you were able to tune in. We hope you are also happy, healthy, and safe. Thank you, everybody.